In a small hospital tucked away in a bustling city, there was a woman named Clara. Clara was a nurse, a gentle, kind-hearted soul whose soft voice could calm even the most frightened child. She wore simple scrubs, her hair tied back in a neat bun, and a smile that felt like sunshine breaking through storm clouds. Clara wasn't famous. She didn't have grand titles or awards hanging on her walls. But what she had was something rare and beautiful, a heart full of love and a spirit that danced. Every day, Clara walked the hospital halls, checking monitors, giving medicine, and listening to whispered fears. But the part of her job she loved most was the children's ward, especially the little ones battling cancer. Some days, the children were too tired or too weak to smile. The machines beeped softly, and the air smelled like antiseptic and medicine. But Clara had a secret. When the nurse's station was quiet and the sun streamed through the windows just right, Clara would start to dance. She didn't care if anyone was watching. She didn't do it for applause. She danced because she believed that music and movement could heal in ways no medicine could. Sometimes, she'd hum a soft tune and sway gently by the beds. Other times, she'd twirl, light on her feet, her arms reaching out like wings. The children watched with wide eyes. One little boy, Marcus, who hadn't spoken for days, suddenly smiled when Clara spun around his bed, making shadows dance on the walls. A shy girl named Amina, hooked 2 and 4, giggled when Clara tapped her feet to a beat only they could hear. Clara's dancing was a language of hope. Nurses and doctors began to notice. Parents whispered in gratitude. The hospital felt less like a place of sickness and more like a place where miracles could happen, because Clara's humble dances reminded everyone of joy, even in the darkest times. One afternoon, a volunteer brought a small radio, and soon Clara had music filling the room. The children, weak but eager, clapped along. Some swayed in their beds, others tried to move their feet. And Clara danced with them all, every step a promise that they were not alone. Years later, when Marcus was well enough to leave the hospital, he told Clara, "You danced me better." Clara just smiled, wiping a tear from her eye. "It was your courage that healed you." And so, Clara kept dancing, quietly, humbly, powerfully, because she knew that sometimes, the greatest medicine is the simplest gift, a little bit of love, a little bit of light, and a dance that says, "You matter." After years of quietly bringing joy and healing through her dance, Clara's light began to shine even brighter. One day, a visitor arrived at the hospital, a representative from a global health NGO focused on improving care for children with cancer. She had heard stories about the humble nurse who didn't just treat illness but brought hope through her dance. Clara wasn't expecting anything. She was just doing what felt right. The NGO representative watched Clara move gracefully around the ward, her feet barely touching the floor as she danced with the children. She saw the smiles, the laughter, the light returning to faces that had known too much pain. Moved by Clara's unique approach, the NGO offered her an opportunity, a promotion to lead a special program dedicated to bringing art, music, and movement therapy to children battling cancer across multiple hospitals. Clara was overwhelmed but honored. Suddenly, her small dances in a quiet hospital room became the heartbeat of a much larger mission. She traveled to new cities, training nurses, doctors, and volunteers to use creativity and compassion as tools for healing. She organized workshops, created dance therapy sessions, and helped build environments where children could dream, play, and heal. But no matter how far she went or how many children she touched, Clara remained the same humble woman who danced for those in need, not for recognition, but because she knew, deep down, that hope moves the world. Her promotion wasn't just a title. It was a promise to keep dancing, keep loving, and keep believing that even in the darkest battles, a little light can change everything.